This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The men's 4x4 at the World Championships, the topic of discussion at today's B3's media luncheon. We get that story from Charles Fisher.
The B3 has fielded many questions from the media. President Rosamond Carey opened up, however, with the issue of the World Championships and the apparent refusal of Stephen Gardner to run the heats of the mile relay.
While the Federation have yet to issue a report on the subject matter, one is forthcoming. I am pleased to convey that at a special call executive meeting that was convened specifically to address that issue, the unanimous decision was reached to impanel an independent committee. This committee makeup would be of non-executives and non-council members. Their mandate would be to undertake a thorough investigation of the incident and to provide their findings. The executives will take whatever action deemed appropriate at the conclusion of this investigation.
As to who will be on this panel?
Not at liberty to say yet who they are, because we want to give them the opportunity to say yes, they will serve. So that panel should be within the next 3 weeks. We should have their results and their findings.
Each sides have already voiced their communication of the event.
I have had verbal reports from the management team, from the head coach. I've spoken on 3 occasions with Stephen Gardner, but I am going to allow the process to take place. But there will be written reports.
Now, there is a document in place from prior B3's administrations to deal with matters like these.
I've known that listening in the session that we had, there were many persons who were disciplined without the written policy. But we would want to have written policies in place so that if there a challenge arose, there's no grounds or no basis for it.
Once again, the matter should be brought before a panel within the next 2 weeks, and a speedy resolution is expected. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
Another issue addressed was the positive drug test by a Bahamian athlete before the World Championships.
The AIU, which is the Athlete Integrity Unit, which is a new unit that was incorporated with the IAAF, they are the unit that is directly responsible for disseminating the information on athletes who tested positive. As to date, the process is still continued. The athlete in question has sent in a legal response, and so until that process is continued, the case is still open.
Jonquel Jones making a bit of WNBA history again last night. She became just the second player in league history to have 3 20-rebound games in a single season. Jones tallied 14 points and 22 boards to lead the Connecticut Sun past the Washington Mystics 86-76. With 2 games to go, Jones is now just 14 boards shy of tying Tina Charles for her single-season rebounds record of 398. The Sun play Phoenix on Friday before closing out with the Sporks on Sunday. They have already secured a top 4 finish in a first-round bye, meaning they will host a second-round playoff game on September 10th against a team still to be determined. It's been a big year so far for the Bahamas Olympic Committee, and President Wellington Miller is happy with what they've been able to accomplish.
We made sure many of the coaches went off on scholarship to better prepare themselves in order to come back to impart knowledge into their athletes. Right now we have Vice President Roy Colebrook is in Switzerland. He's doing a master's degree plan in sports administration, which we will do for the next 2 years.
The Providence Softball Association back on the diamond last night with doubleheader action. Up first, the Johnson Lady Truckers put a blank job on the University of the Bahamas Mingos, 12-0. As for the feature game, the CNS Hitmen brought out the big lumber against the Commander Security Truckers, winning 14-4. Now, while play continues in the NPSA, fan support continues to be an issue. For more on that, Here's Kelsey Johnson.
The sport of softball is dead.
Hopefully softball will advance to the next level.
The once popular sport softball was a grand slam and was in the hearts of many fans back in the day. Nowadays, hardly anyone comes out to watch the action. Those who do walk through the gate only when a loved one is on the field playing.
I wouldn't say there's so much a drastic decline, but as you realize, today is Tuesday night, so many families are preparing for back to school. And two, depending on who is playing, then you would normally have a huge fan base that come out to support their particular team.
I'm here, my daughter plays with the Truckers, that's Shaquille Bean, and I enjoy the game. I mean, it's like my little recreational fun thing. I just love to come out. And I come to a lot of other games also.
The empty stands tells the tale of the struggling sport, one which the executives of the New Providence Softball Association are trying their very best to keep in full swing.
We got 4 men's team, a few ladies team, a few young teams, the older players. We don't do nothing out here to excite and to bring the people out here. And beside that, the teams are just what used to be love and camaraderie. Everything is war now. Okay, I don't know what we're going to do to change that, but there has to be something because the sponsors, we have good sponsors, but I don't know what's going on with the people in softball.
The fans have more option now to look forward to in the evenings to choose from, whereas in the past, like 30 years ago, it was just the various sports.
The fans who do show up believe that the level of play needs to be raised. They reminisced about the games played back in the day and how there wasn't even standing room in the park when big games were scheduled.
Back in the day, it was real softball. You had a lot of fans, you had a lot of people that just don't have anything to do and they just head out to the park. That's how it was back in the day.
The teams are very much competitive, so because your teams are not as competitive as it was in the past, it kind of like a little stagnated now because persons are coming out like, wow, it's not a competitive game.
The executives welcome everyone, especially the kids and Brutus, the dog, who is an avid fan. Games are played 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at the Bankers Field. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Total Sports.
And that'll do it for sports. Stay tuned, check on weather still to come.